causes of perfectionism in a child and how to address them. Now, this is something that a lot of us struggle with. Perfectionism is not easy, and realistically, it is learned from someone. So many of us, we start off with having high expectations for ourselves, and that is really great. But when high expectations becomes intense pressure to constantly succeed, that starts to become a detriment to us, or a detriment to us. So what you'll see in your classroom or in a child is, if for most of us, getting 9 out of 10 is a win. But when a child gets 10, but most children who are perfectionists will wonder, why didn't I get 10 out of 10? And will start to beat themselves about that. But if they get 10 out of 10, they're still not satisfied, because they feel like it was imposter syndrome there, and that they were lucky to get it, and they worry about if they're going to be able to do this again, to replicate this same strategy again. And so it's a constant battle for them. Now, I'm not a medical professional. I am a teacher, and honestly, I've struggled with this as well. So I'm going to be talking about this from my own experience, but also from what works in my classroom. And this is a really important topic, because perfectionism can also hinder a child's ability to succeed, because a lot of the times they wait for something this little bit to be perfect before they can move on to the next, and that starts to cause trouble for them in school and outside in the real world. So it's really important to figure out what is going on here and how to help them. So let's get right into it. The first one is called the reason. Here, I want you to really talk to the child and figure out what is causing them to try to be perfect. Understanding that this is a learned behavior. It's not something that just came out of thin air. They've probably watched someone that they really love or they're close to work on trying to have high expectations, but it was taken out of context and started to become one where a child needs to be perfect. That could be one situation, but it could also be part of a greater issue and a coping mechanism for something that's happening to them. So it's really important to figure out what that reason is. The second thing is feelings and expectations. So I want you to share your feelings and how in a situation when you didn't quite do something the right way. Maybe you had a failure at one point, but how did you learn, how and what did you learn from the situation, and how did you feel through this process? Really explain to your children about this. Show them that learning comes from failure, and that failure is not just a be-all end-all, but it can be a stepping stone to something greater for them. So explain to them how you coped with it, and also teach them coping mechanisms. So maybe it's talking to a trusted adult, or perhaps it's writing or drawing about it in a journal. So find ways to show them how to cope with these mixed emotions about needing to be perfect all of the time. Okay. The third thing is coping skills. So I want you to teach them about here moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So how do we get past this negative self-talk? Because remember, I mentioned that when a child gets 10 out of 10, they worry that they can't do it. When a child gets 9 out of 10, it's, oh no, I should have gotten 10 out of 10. I'm not good at this. So, perhaps you can use yourself as an example. Like, there are times where, myself included, I've forgotten to photocopy a worksheet. And instead of saying, oh, I'm so foolish, I'm so stupid, I can't believe I forgot to do this, we could switch that and say, you know what, I forgot to photocopy this worksheet this time, but I'm going to make a note of it for next time. So it's taking a thought and actually just reframing it into something that can be done, an actionable step that we can do. Okay. The next step is healthy self-esteem. So here I really want you to focus on building your child's self-esteem up. And to do that, I want you to have them look into learning a new skill, or taking on something new that they've never done before, that they've never been exposed to before, so that they work on developing this new skill in time and not looking at trying to be perfect. So they could perhaps record all of their progress, and then look at look at their development over time instead of looking at this has to be perfect, this has to be perfect. It's wow, look at how much I've grown. And then you as a teacher praise that growth so that they know that growth is more important than being perfect. Okay? Now, if you are looking to build self-esteem in general, I've got 3 different resources, 2 of them for self-esteem, and the other one is for developing inner self-worth. So if you'd like to get that, check out the link associated with this video where it says full episode. Click on that link and go right to step number 4 and you can grab that. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me. Let's recap really quickly. We've looked at why some children are deal with perfectionism and 4 ways that we can help them through it. Number 1 is the reason. We're looking for the reason. Number 2 is failings and expectations. Number 3 is coping skills, and number 4 is healthy self-esteem. If you have any questions in the meantime, please send me an email. Otherwise, please remember to create, experience, and teach from the heart. I will see you again, same place, same time next week. Take care. Bye.